let's say I have a match today that I really want to win. Like you, maybe because we say it all the time, like what you just said, like you don't have to play above a certain level, you know. So for you, maybe especially as a talented guy who, like what Zeke said, you know, you always had a lot of the shots back in the day. Like obviously you have some weapons and that sort of stuff. So to feel like, do you feel like you're not using some of the your absolute weapons in some of these moments? Or like how does it how hard is it to like control it and like just maintain a certain level instead of like the the up and downs when you're trying to play as well as you can?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a trained thing at this point. You gotta train and play in the matches where, like, I guess I'll give you an example. In Shanghai, my first two matches I played there, I felt like the other guy was just playing kind of like redlining, both guys. And I was the kind of guy that was playing kind of consistent. And I was like, damn, should I just be starting to go for more or what? And, uh, and I started to kind of like match them a little bit where they would hit a really good shot. I would kind of defend well, but still the big targets and stuff. Like you, you develop this base level. That doesn't mean you're always there. It means like that's kind of the worst you can play. You want to think that that's the worst you can play. There's times where I've played much worse than that, where you just miss random balls.
I'll never play worse than that.
But like you have this base where you're not missing and stuff, and then you start. I mean, you start to get creative with it. I'm not saying like you can't go for crazy shots. It's just there's a time and place for those kind of things. You see those highlights and you're like, damn, like that must be how they're always playing. But the meat of the points that these guys are playing is not like highlight reel shots, you know. So but there's times where like like yesterday for example, I'm playing super high percentages against Sky Carlis, but then he forces me into a position I have to hit the only option I have is hit a crazy backhand angle winner off my backhand, and I hit it, and that's the highlight you see. But that's not how I'm trying to play, you know. So you trying to train this like base level of like hitting into big targets, playing high percentage, and then when you're forced, you have to go for those like pretty shots, and that's kind of how that's one of the reasons I think I'm making a little bit of a jump with my level is just not as much my high level, but just like my base level is getting a little higher, making me more consistent week to week.
How often do you think like Novak is tempted to pull the trigger on a shot, but he just doesn't? Because for me, I love my backhand, and I feel like it's my weapon. I should be going for it. I should be taking over points with it. But then sometimes it's like it's too much. Like what am I doing? So like I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like I have a weapon. I should be using it. If I'm not using it as much as I can, why do I have the weapon?
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're kind of like feeling it, and you're not feeling it as in like you're playing really well, but if you feel that that's the right shot to hit, you kind of go with your instincts. But what I'm saying is it takes a while, but you almost want to retrain your instincts. Like Novak's probably got it down to such a good balance to where he knows exactly when he should kind of go for it. And I think it depends. Like I haven't played necessarily the level of the guys that Novak's. The highest ranked guy I played outside of Novak was probably Nori, who is a good player, of course, but like sometimes when these guys like Alcaraz and Sinner are playing against Novak and they're bringing their like A game, I'm sure Novak's like going for a little more sometimes, or he has that shot, he's going for more of a line because Alcaraz is he's unbelievably fast or something, you know what I mean? Like so, but he's probably got that to a science. But if you watch, like I watched some of Sinner and Djokovic the other night, it's like they're absolutely crushing the ball. But look at where the ball lands. It's nowhere near the lines most of the time. It's like middle of the court, but like they're still able to build a point that way. So I don't know. I think that's kind of what, like in college, a lot of times when I was playing, I'm just hitting serves and trying to hit winners. And then I didn't return really well. So you also need to trust the other parts of the game that like if you don't go for that winner, that like you'll still be able to win the point. That's the tough part too. Like sometimes like I didn't trust that like, hey, if I don't hit this return winner, like I'm probably gonna lose the point off the ground because I'm not good off the ground. But if you trust that like your base, like rally shot's good, then you can not pull the trigger and still feel like, okay, like I'm in the point. I'll wait for a better one, kind of thing.
I feel like I watched because I sat next to your coach yesterday watching the match, and then I trained with you this morning, and just even doing like the cross court drills and stuff. Not to give away too much, but I'm sure it's not that much of a secret. But I feel like, so for example, today when we were training doing the cross courts, like your coach said we can go down the line whenever we can. So we're going cross forehands, and then whenever once I want to go down the line. But I feel like I never got the same forehand cross in a row. It's either like a maybe a shorter angle or like a ball through or like a deeper one. And I'm sure you're good enough to hit the same ball all the time if you want to. But I feel like you mix it every now and again. It's kind of similar to what I heard yesterday a little bit in the match too. It's like the guy yesterday was destroying the ball, like seeing the ball huge. And then maybe you have to try to like not make him see the same tempo all the time. So maybe in a way that also takes some of the risk away, like just, I guess, changing the tempo on someone, but going for a similar area with different speed, different heights, and that sort of stuff. Like,
well, when we were in cross-court forehands, I mean, I like my main goal when we do that kind of drill where you can take the ball is to not give you a ball that you can kind of like feel comfortable taking. If you want to go line with some of the balls I'm hitting, go for it. But if you make it, I'm like, okay, too good. But like I'm trying to make it like I hit a heavy ball or an angle so that you're either on the run or you're deep in the court where you can't really, in theory, you can't really hit a winner. Yeah. So when I'm pulling the trigger, I'm trying to wait for the ball that you kind of sit up a little bit that I can really tag. So I guess, but I'm not good enough to always hit the same ball. It's every ball is different. The court speed's a little off sometimes, like bad bounce. I don't know. It's tricky, but I try to hit a good quality ball with what you kind of give me. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, against certain guys, like if you have the tools too, which I've developed my slice a little bit, like like against a guy like Carlis, like yesterday, I think he likes the ball in the same spot every time. I wouldn't say it minimizes risk for me, but like I'm trying to win the point by not taking that much risk, but just changing the speed. Like I'm very comfortable just like I'll slice to his backhand and then I'll hit backhand, but all, like I said, high percentage shots, not like going for any crazy shots or anything, but trying to mix it up on a guy like that, make him move a little bit. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, all this that I'm talking about, I've learned a good amount of that in the last year. Like I was never super clear with what I was trying to do out there always, but having coaches help me out and stuff can be important.